Hey guys, EDDBUD here, and today I'm looking at the heroes and villains of running shoe durability. Hey cats, EDDBUD here, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm examining the most and least durable running shoes that I've tested out over the last couple of years. These opinions are based purely on my own experiences in the shoe. I haven't included any shoes here that I haven't worn. Let me know your most and least durable running shoes down in the comments. We'll start with most durable first. And we're going with the Ultraboost 20 from Adidas. Now, anybody that watches the channel for any length of time will know that this wasn't my favourite running shoe of last year. In fact, it was far from my favourite. But the fact cannot be denied that this is one durable shoe. I put it to use as a leisure shoe after I stopped running in it, and I've got to say it's pretty much exactly the same as when I stopped running in it. An incredibly durable shoe. The upper shows absolutely zero signs of degradation whatsoever. The midsole material, the boost, still feels good. And the cushion, though very substantial on foot, was very consistent over the miles. Zero wear on the continental rubber in the outsole. This really is a tank of a shoe that will just soak up those daily miles. So it's got to get a mention here. The Adidas Ultraboost 20. What's he going to surprise us with next, they say? I'll surprise you again. The next shoe that I find to be one of the most durable is the Asics Novablast. This shoe really grew on me over time, and it proved to be an extremely durable shoe over the miles. That marshmallow-like midsole did mellow out a little bit over time, but only to a more toffee-like creamy consistency. And the shoe just got better and better the more miles I put into it. The upper's typical Asics stuff, and hard wearing enough, although I didn't really like those ultra thin laces. Just cast those aside, Asics, we don't need them. The outsole consists of Asics high abrasion rubber, and despite my best attempts, I only managed to graze it very slightly here in the midfoot. There's a tiny area here in the heel as well, with a bit of wear, but that was it, and I was really trying. Overall, the Novablast from Asics is hard to beat for durability. The upper looks almost brand new as well. Crazy stuff. Asics, you're doing yourself out of a few quid. The third and last shoe in terms of my durability heroes is from Brooks, and it's the Hyperion Tempo. That's Hyperion 10 Tempo. This Brooks shoe looked practically brand new after I put 100 miles into it. It felt brand new too. Even smelled brand new. Still smells great. Aside from a few small creases in the midsole there, didn't affect the on-foot feel whatsoever. Zero effect on the underfoot cushion. Perhaps it's the simple upper construction, materials and design, but it barely showed any signs of visible wear after 100 miles. And I took this one on some serious high tempo testing too. The outsole too, exceptional. I reckon you could take a chisel to this, let your dog chew on it, and it would still be fine. Don't try that, by the way, at home. I'm just being ridiculous. On closer inspection, the Tempo took on many thorough, torturous tests, all in its stride, without any real rubber reduction. A real winner for such a light shoe as well. I think this one will be known as a bit of a cult classic in years to come. Good on you, Brooks. So that's the good, but what about the ugly? I'm sad to say it, but the Hoka One One Rincon really wasn't that durable. My experiences are based on the original version of the shoe rather than the V2, but I do believe that the midsole unit is the same. The upper of the shoe to start with was very narrow, which seemed to cause a lot of pulling and stress on the upper construction. The midsole and outsole really deteriorated quite quickly in this shoe. Even at 100 miles I had loads of visible wear. I did feel that the foam just started to pack a little bit. There was definitely some loss of cushion there where the foam had compressed. I mean, that's relatively quick, 100 miles, and don't forget I'm a relatively light dude as well. It's a lot faster than most other shoes will compress like that. Of course there's little rubber on the outsole there to protect that exposed midsole foam, but it did leave me to wonder what the shoe would be like after 200 miles or 300 miles. Not a shoe to grab if you like 300 plus miles out of your runner. If you're a footwear fanatic, then this one will really extinguish your party quite quickly. It looks so good as well, this shoe. Just not quite there. Okay, I'm going to upset a few people with this one, but bear with me. The second of my durability villains is the Vaporfly 4% Flyknit. When we consider how far Nike have come improving durability with their Next% and Alphafly offerings, you look back to the 4% Flyknit and that one really did degrade quickly. I mean, I loved racing in this shoe. very exhilarating. Even after I sort of retired it from racing, it was still a really great tempo and high pace shoe, but I don't think anyone can say it was particularly durable. And I don't really feel it's down to the foam. The Zoom X actually held up relatively well. I think it was the rubber that was letting the shoe down. The outsole of the shoe just didn't lend itself to stacking up hundreds of miles. Yes, you can patch it up with shoe glue and stuff, but do you really want to be doing that to your top end race shoe? Would you really trust it on one of those marathons or half marathons that you've spent months training for? I think it's more the placement of the rubber there. It just didn't do enough to protect the Zoom X material. I certainly found that these got very brittle once they got wet, and as the Zoom X dries up, it seems to leave those angled rubber parts there very exposed, and they very easily come loose from the Zoom X. I know loads of people have patches fall off of them. The forefoot rubber part there wasn't really to blame. That was okay. That seemed to hold up really well. Very durable. So not a total failure this one in the durability stakes, but it's certainly put in the shade by the Vaporfly Next Percent and the Alphafly Next Percent. I'd suggest this version of the shoe clearly worked better for those with a midfoot or forefoot strike. If you spent too much time in the heel, it wasn't going to last. Just going to tear it up pretty quickly, like Little Richard. Last of the worst in the durability stakes is the New Balance Beacon. The outsole on both pairs of the beacons I've got tore up really early. Even after about 40-50 miles, there's already some considerable wear. I think it's down to that Hoka style exposed midsole in the outsole. And I found that the rubber pods in the forefoot and the heel seem to wear down quite quickly and level off. Not sure that the upper was a big improvement in the version 3, and I found the midsole to behave in exactly the same way. Really did start to lose some of that initial pop quite early on. The elf heel really does work in the 1080 V10, not so much here. Maybe it's temperature related or something, but this just feels really firm now, though I'm still not going to lose all hope. Pretty much all the other shoes that I've tested out over the last couple of years have been pretty good for durability. No major wear in any of them. Aside from maybe the race shoes, most of the daily trainers have been absolutely fine. A couple of honourable mentions here in terms of poorer durability. Sadly, there's two Adidas shoes there. The back section of the upper in both of the Boston 9 and SL20 had some holes at 100 miles. They didn't really change the feel of the shoe on foot, but it's certainly something to be worried about. At 200, 300 miles, what would those holes be like? Certainly not welcome news at all. Let's hope that they can improve that in future iterations of the shoe. It's a good thing that those two shoes had fantastic midsoles and outsoles, which still means I can give them the Beast seal of approval. Let me know your durability heroes and villains down in the comments. Musical interlude time. Now, I am a big Chaz and Dave fan. Always have been, always will. I was really lucky a couple of years back before he passed away to meet Chaz from Chaz and Dave, and what a lovely man. When you meet your heroes, sometimes it can be a bit of a bittersweet kind of situation, but meeting Chaz was just wonderful. I was so glad I met him. Whenever I'm feeling blue, I always put on my Chaz and Dave's Knees Up album. Always gets you feeling good. You know, put a bit of pub noise on in the background, put your Chaz and Dave album on, and you're in another world. It kicks off with Come Round and Hear My Gramophone, which is, you know, if you ask somebody like that you're interested in, you know, come around and hear my gramophone, and they say no, then you know you're onto a loser. Another great one on there's The End of Me Old Cigar, and I really love It's a Windy Night Tonight, which I quite often whistle to myself as I'm running along doing a quick 3-miler in the evening. A bit later on in the album as well, you've got the classic Sling Ya Hook. I think one of my favourite Chaz and Dave songs ever though is always Gotcha. Gotcha. Chaz, you'll always live on with that music. What a brilliant piano player. Go and check it out. Chaz and Dave's Knees Up. Alright, cats and kittens, time for me to rock on out of here. Thanks for watching through to the very end, I very much appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when I launch those new videos. It helps the channel out a huge amount, and who'd not want to do that? Give this video a thumbs up like and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you.